Okay, after weeks of testing and diving into every single class and how they're performing on the PTR, in today's video, we got the best classes overall right now. It's important to understand this isn't just about one spec individually, it's about the entire class as a whole and how they're performing based on damage, tanking, and healing, if they're fun to play, and if they bring enough variety to where you don't get bored and you'll stay entertained for a while. Now, without further ado, let's jump into the 5 best classes you could main heading into the final season of the War Within, the Ghost of Koresh. Now, up first, we have the Mage. Gifted with keen intellect and blessed by the arcanic magics, we of course have another very sure season heading into the Ghost of Koresh with the Mage. Whether it be bringing nuclear explosive damage with pyroblast and combustions with Fire Mage, dealing oppressive, arcanic, explosive, impactful damage with Arcane, or chilling enemies to their core with nuclear comet storms and glacial spikes with Frost Mage. All 3 of these specs are very high tier when it comes to DPS. They bring immense utility, control, and grouping potential viability heading into the new season. You bring Time Warp, food for your party, portals, arcane intellect, a very wide variety of gameplay builds and options, and we still haven't even scratched the surface. Mage is just one of those classes that is almost a guaranteed hit every single season. Typically, 1 or 2 specs are fantastic, and this is a class that is constantly being checked on by the developers, so you never feel left out. If you love playing a pure DPS range class, Mage is absolutely an option for you. Now, when it comes to heading into the new season, we of course are getting our brand new tier set bonuses, and with Blizzard giving us access to 2 tier sets per spec, there's a mountain of potential when it comes to build variety. The great news right now for Mage is that all 3 hero talents are designed and balanced very well. With the Sun Fairy hero talent tree, you're all about empowering your Phoenix that is summoned when you activate one of your powerful abilities, and by doing so, your Phoenix gifts you with buffs after it dissipates. This allows you to continue your burst damage, and your tier set is designed to complement this very well. You have the Frostfire talent tree that's all about combining 2 opposite elements to create a destructive force of damage every so often. By adding ignite damage to a Frost Mage and giving you the ability to summon meteors, and with the new tier set even shoot out pyroblasts when you use Glacial Spike. And for fire, it gives you the ability to shoot out comet storms while occasionally tossing out glacial spikes combined with your pyroblast. The spec is fantastic every so often in dealing very heavy AoE damage and has some of the best visuals in the entire game. And lastly, for the Mage, you have the Spellslinger, which as you do your rotation, you summon arcane or frost splinters to formulate in the air around you to shoot at enemies to deal extra damage. This is particularly very effective with your new tier set for summoning more frozen orbs as a frost mage, or to grant endless stacks of arcane harmony to empower your arcane barrage to deal nuclear damage in an AoE setting for arcane. With the mage and the respective class specs, you gotta know all 3 of them are performing very well right now. But the truth of the matter is arcane mage is the star of the show. They're godly right now in Mythic Plus and very consistent in a raid setting. You're tossing out arcane barrages and arcane orbs every other global cooldown, with the spec and talent tree making it feel very good overall to play. Frost Mage has seen some incredible improvements as well from a PvE perspective heading into the new season, with them honestly having some serious viability in both Mythic Plus and raiding, which is exciting for the class overall. And for Fire Mage, it's absolutely amongst one of the better DPS specs in the game, in the right hands, giving you the ability to deal explosive AoE damage and very consistent single target DPS when you know what you're doing. When it comes to all 3 specs, they are absolutely fantastic, and you can main any single one of them individually if you want to. When it comes to the overall ratings for Mage, I will say Mage is one of the harder classes to play in the game, but if you know what you're doing, this class will reward you for it. They have tons of build variety, easily being amongst some of the best in the game, with having loads of gameplay options, hero talent trees that are designed very well, with tier sets that are very impactful this season. The performance is amongst some of the best in the game across all 3 specs, but in particular, Arcane Mage is stealing the show from Mythic Plus, being one of the best in the game, and if you combine that with their group utility always being amazing when it comes to Mage, having arcane intellect, group-wide damage soaks with their AoE barriers, endless crowd control, you name it, the Mage has it, easily making them one of the best classes in the game overall, by far. Moving on next, the only class to answer the call of the wild and the adventure of the primal world, we have the Hunter. Being masters of any environment, they're able to adapt to any situation to get the edge, whether it be by laying traps, tossing out wildfire bombs, and slashing enemies in melee with survival, sniping enemies from afar, hidden in the trees, bringing unrelenting assault with their bow with marksmen, or having the deepest of bonds with their animal companions to do their bidding with beast mastery. When it comes to raw damage, all three hunter specs are in a very good spot right now, being easily amongst some of the highest damage dealers in the game. They have very strong AoE damage potential, Mythic Plus viability, and single target raid consistency as well. They're one of the few classes to bring a Bloodlust ability. You have traps which can knock enemies up, slow, or even freeze them, and one of the only few classes in the game to have an immunity with Aspect of the Turtle. Hunter's greatest strength, though, is something very few have, and that's the ability to deal nearly all of their damage on the move. Being very mobile gives them the effective ability at dodging mechanics and setting up your position to strike with great force with either your pet or yourself, making them a powerful damage class in the right hands. In the Ghost of Koresh, we're of course getting these new tier set bonuses, which include having access to 2 tier sets per spec, and with the Hunter, this leaves you with a very wide variety of damaging possibilities that will greatly affect your gameplay style, leaving you a ton of potential. All 3 hero talent trees for Hunter are designed very well. They're incredibly thematic and enhance your gameplay drastically, making for one of the best set of hero talents in the game. You have the Dark Ranger, who specializes in tapping into the darkness to shoot out black arrows to damage enemies over time and explode bleak powder from them to coat your enemies in a cloud of sulfur and shadow. You have the Pack Leader hero talent tree that gives you the ability to master the Call of the Wild, occasionally summoning the aid of wild beasts such as bears, wyverns, and boars to amplify you and your summoned beast damage. And with the new tier set ability, you even summon a stampede of wild animals to come to your aid and trample your enemies until they're no more. And lastly, you have the Sentinel hero talent tree, where you release unrelenting arcane damage and call down mystical owls to empower you to deal some of the highest burst damage numbers in the game and rain destruction on enemies through empowering abilities like Wildfire Bomb and Aim Shot. In terms of raw damage, when it comes to the Hunter overall, and all their class specs, you gotta know all 3 of them are doing very well right now, which typically is quite rare, as most of the time, either 1 or 2 of them lag behind. The star of the show by far, though, right now has to be Beast Mastery. The damage they're dealing in both single target for raid and AoE is absolutely ridiculous with their tier sets. It's just straightforward rotation, very easy to learn and pick up, and very, very mobile as a spec. Survival, surprisingly, is also doing very well right now, with their tier sets shooting them through the moon, causing some of their wildfire bombs to crit for over 10 million damage at times, with a very nice back and forth gameplay rotation that's super fun and unique to any spec. And then, of course, finally, you have Marksman, which is technically the weakest of some of the Hunter specs right now, but that doesn't mean they're bad at all. Once again, the Sentinel hero talent tree for them is causing their aim shots to ricochet and hit for almost 20 million damage a cast, and with Explosive Shot, it now grants them lock and load. It makes for a very smooth, fast-paced rotation that anyone would love heading into the new season. Now, when it comes to overall ratings, Hunter is actually one of the easier classes to play in the game, so if you're looking for something straightforward, this is definitely an option. They have a good amount of build variety, gameplay styles that vary drastically, so it can give you something fresh anytime you change your spec, and their hero talent trees thematically and design-wise are some of the best in the entire game. Their group utility is decent, with them only bringing Bloodlust, a knockup, and a couple other benefits, but just know they're a very strong pure DPS class, and Hunter right now is dealing one of the best damage across the game when it comes to their 3 specs. They have super fun hero talents with a good amount of gameplay variety. Moving on to our next class, we have the Druid. The Druids harness the vast power of nature to preserve balance and protect life. They release nature's raw energy against enemies, and even turn into their deadliest inhabitants to release celestial fury to shapeshift on those who oppose them. As a Feral Druid, you change into a deadly cat, giving you great agility to deal unrelenting burst damage through bleeds and bites either from the shadows or up close and personal. You have the Balanced Druid, where you shape into a powerful moonkin, enhancing your connection to the moon and stars to rain down lunar and solar energy upon your foes to deal incredible area of effect damage. The Guardian Druid, who's meant to now protect and serve his allies by taking on the form of a mighty bear to absorb damage and take the brute force of attacks. And then lastly, you have Restoration, who channels nature's powerful magic through your veins to regenerate, and revitalize your allies in an area to heal their wounds and keep everyone alive. As a druid, one of the biggest class strengths is that you're the only class in the game that has 4 different specializations and one of very few that have access to 3 different role types, being the healer, tank, and DPS. So your versatility is the highest in the game out there. You also bring Mark of the Wild, which is an amazing raid buff to increase your versatility of your allies, a battle resurrection to revive allies in combat, innervate to give to your healers, and more. I would say if you're a player that loves versatility and the ability to play different role types, whether it be tanking, healing, or DPS, Druid is absolutely a great class for you. With tier set bonuses giving you 2 tier set options per spec, Druid is the only class in the game that has 8 different tier set bonuses across the board to choose from, by far giving you the most variety of possibilities that can affect your gameplay style in the game. With Elune's Chosen, you dedicate yourself to the moon and are granted connection to enhance your astral might to project the lunar magic to enhance your capabilities in combat. You get the ability to shoot out star surges as a guardian and balanced druid throughout your rotation to hit multiple enemies at once and even amplify your damage significantly every once in a while to set up some immense burst windows. Through Druid of the Claw, you focus on your primal animal self to enhance yourself in cat and bear form, to occasionally give you the ability called Ravage to swipe across enemies in front of you to deal massive damage up front and apply a bleed damage over time. And with your new tier set, this will give you a chance to cast it multiple times in a row, leaving you unrelenting burst damage while also buffing you in combat to keep your sustainability up. You have the Keeper of the Grove hero talent tree, where you summon Trents to protect the balance of nature and safeguard the Emerald Dream to aid you in combat and amplify your damage. In Season 3, you also summon a Dryad to either cast Tranquility to heal your allies or Star Surge enemies to deal massive damage. And for the last hero talent tree spec, you have the Wild Stalker spec, which allows you to manually perpetuate the cycle of life and death to destroy those around you, or restore allies to life, growing symbiotic blooms upon them, which restore them over time and do bursting growths of healing potential. Now, typically because Druid has 4 specializations, 1 or 2 of them are usually really good for Mythic Plus or rating, and that definitely remains the same heading into the new season. Balanced Druid is yet again looking to be phenomenal in a Mythic Plus environment, as they bring some of the highest AoE damage in the entire game, and pretty much their entire kit is designed for that content style, making them still a great choice for that. Restoration Druid is performing additionally some of the best in the game on the PTR in terms of healing, making them competitive in Mythic Plus with Discipline Priest, as well as Holy Priest and Restoration Shaman in Raid. Guardian Druid may not be the best tank overall, but if you're looking for somebody that's very durable, Guardian is easily top 2 in the entire game in terms of being one of the most durable and hardest tanks to kill in the game. And lastly, you have the Feral Druid, where they some of the highest burst damage potential during their cooldown windows and incredible priority damage, and with good group coordination, it can give you the ability to pretty much take down entire packs all on your own. When it comes to overall ratings, I would say Druid as a whole really isn't that hard to play, so if you're looking for something straightforward, Druid can be an option for you. It's important to know, though, they are a Swiss Army knife and they have the highest build variety in the entire game, with almost endless gameplay styles to choose from. So if you're looking to main just one class alone with a bunch of different gameplay styles, Druid should be your choice. They have hero talent trees that are thematically amazing, and they are designed very, very well, and they're the only class that gets an extra hero talent, which is super fun to engage with. Their group utility is very high also, bringing a raid buff with Mark of the Wild, a battle resurrection, innervate for your healers, and enough AoE crowd control that anyone would be happy to have them. I love playing a Druid, and for a lot of you out there who typically like to stay with just one class, I would highly recommend the Druid if you like playing tank, DPS, or healer. If you don't mind adapting to whatever your guild or party may need, there's no better class in the game in terms of versatility. Moving on to our next class, we have the Master of the Elements, the Shaman. Shamans are spiritual guides and practitioners of the elements, and it is the call of the shaman to bring balance to the elemental chaos going on in the world as moderators of earth, fire, and air. With Restoration Shaman, you're a healer who calls upon ancestral spirits with the power of water to summon totems and cleanse your allies and mend their wounds with ancestral magic that only you can wield. As Elemental, you're a spellcaster who harnesses the destructive forces of lightning and fire to cast incredible elemental abilities of damaging nature like Chain Lightning, Earthquake, and Lava Burst. As an enhancement shaman, you dual wield 2 weapons in combat and imbue them with elemental power such as Wind Fury and Flame Tongue to get up close and personal to attack your enemies with strength and elemental damage. You gotta know you bring probably the most utility in the entire game. You have endless crowd control, the shortest cooldown kick in the game, a brand new raid buff with Sky Fury this expansion, a group-wide cleanse, you name it, the shaman has it. When it comes to damaging options, you also have the ability to play a ranged DPS as well as melee DPS, so you do have some variety when it comes to damaging. And lastly, you have access to 2 different role types being DPS and healer, so if you like playing support as well, it's a great option for you. With the Farseer hero talent tree, it's all about harnessing the power of spiritual magic to summon your ancestors to aid you in combat. Your ancestors will duplicate some of your spell casts such as Lava Burst and even some of your healing abilities when you're support, and with the new tier set this season, you guarantee the ability to summon even more ancestors that duplicate your spell casts, leaving you a very visually appealing hero talent tree. Through the Stormbringer spec, it's all about harnessing the power of lightning to enhance your dominion over enemies in combat. This season, as you cast your Tempest ability for enhancement or elemental, you will occasionally transform into the Ascendant state to vastly increase your damage overall, giving you the ability to absolutely devastate enemies completely on your own, leaving you a very fun and fast-paced gameplay style. And lastly, you have the Totemic hero talent tree, which excels at unlocking the full potential of your totems, strengthening them and imbuing your skills overall to increase effectiveness. In this season, your totem will even cast powerful abilities on its own like Storm Surge to damage enemies or Downpour to restore allies' health at will. All 3 of these hero talent trees for Shaman are visually very incredible, and it makes for a fun class to play as they actively change your rotation immensely. When it comes to all 3 Shaman specs, all of them are performing very well right now. By far, the star of the show has to be Enhancement, though. This spec is insane on the PTR right now. You're just spamming Tempest and Storm Strike constantly in your Ascendance windows and dealing some of the highest burst damage I've ever seen in the War Within. With Restoration, they are by far one of the best healers in the game with the Totemic hero talent tree. It's as simple as popping a couple healing stream totems, using your surging totem, spamming chain heal, and everyone is going to be healed to full, and it's very satisfying to play. Then right now you have the Elemental Shaman with the Stormbringer hero talent tree, where during your Ascendance windows, you can deal some incredible priority damage and just annihilate packs and Mythic Plus on your own. So overall, I'm loving the Shaman as a class in its entirety right now, and all 3 of these specs are ranked very high, with the biggest exceptions being Enhancement and Restoration though. When it comes to overall ratings, I have to say Shaman can be a bit advanced when it comes to their DPS specs with Elemental and Enhancement, but with Restoration Shaman, they're probably the easiest healer to play in the game, which helps them make up for it. Shaman doesn't have that much build variety when it comes to each respective spec, but to make up for it, they do have 2 different role types, so there is some variety there in a sense. Their hero talent trees thematically and visually are amongst some of the coolest in the game, with their tier sets being very effective this season, particularly for Stormbringer as well as Totemic for Restoration. As a Shaman, you have easily the most utility in the entire game, with access to a raid buff, Bloodlust, totems to crowd control, cleanse, or even buff your allies, the shortest cooldown kick in the game, you name it, Shaman has it. Thematically, you're one of the coolest classes in the game also, and if you like elemental combat, this is the class for you. Moving on to our last class, we have the Faithful Priests. Priests are devoted to the spiritual and express their faith by serving the people in the midst of terrible conflict. There's no hero out there who can question the value of the priestly order. As a holy priest, you have the ability to be a very versatile healer who can reverse damage on individuals or groups and even heal from beyond the grave. As a disciplined priest, you specialize in shielding allies with powerful absorbed shields and protect them from harm to restore their health by even dealing damage to smite enemies. And lastly, you have Shadow Priest, who use sinister dark magic such as the Void to tap into their inner evil to eradicate enemies entirely through forces we know very little of. As a priest, right off the bat, one of the biggest strengths is you're the only class in the game that has 2 different healing specializations. This typically means that one of them is meta throughout the entirety of the season, no matter what, giving you a very safe choice in terms of group support. You also bring a raid buff in Power Word Fortitude, and you also have access to a DPS spec, so you have the potential to play 2 different role types. As a healer, you bring some of the most powerful healing cooldowns for your raid in the entire game, such as Spirit of Redemption for Holy and Power Word Barrier as Discipline. Lastly, you also bring a bonus temporary buff with Power Infusion to increase allies' haste drastically for a short period of time to increase their damage substantially. When it comes to their hero talent trees, first up we have Archon, where you're connected to both light and shadow, and it greatly enhances your Halo ability to continuously pulse outwards and return back to you to either deal great damage or healing to your party and raid members. This season with your tier set, it's all about casting even more Halo pulses and even lowering the cooldown of your holy words Serenity and Sanctify, giving you fantastic AoE potential for healing and damage. As a Void Weaver, you dedicate yourself to studying void magic and even discovered a way to summon entropic rifts to consume and damage enemies in its path. This specialization is highly effective for the Shadow Priest as it greatly increases your damage and makes you an absolute powerhouse for both raiding and Mythic Plus right now across the board. For a Discipline Priest, it gives you the potential to deal more damage, and it does make for a very fun gameplay style. Lastly, for your hero talent tree, you have this support-only Oracle Priest, where you gain insight into the future and use it to protect and empower your allies and benefits on your party members before they even know they need it. As an Oracle Priest, you gain access to 3 new abilities that greatly increase your healing potential to your party, and with your tier set, you're able to substantially increase the cooldown recovery rate of abilities of your choosing, and further increase your healing through Penance and Prayer of Mending. When it comes to all 3 priest specs, all of them are performing very well right now. It's important to note right now that Discipline Priest is primarily being used for Mythic Plus and is going to be meta there, while Holy Priest is designed to be that raid spec that does absolutely nuclear healing numbers with all your powerful defensive cooldowns ready to go. So typically, if you're strictly playing healing as a priest, you're going to alternate between these 2 consistently. With Shadow Priest, surprisingly for the first time in a very long time, you're amongst one of the best DPS specs in the entire game. Your Void Weaver hero talent tree is very well designed, and if you combine that with the fact that their tier set is very good for them, Shadow Priest is looking incredible right now with the recent updates. Overall, Priest is in such a very good spot right now. They bring a raid buff, all 3 specs are powerful, and you have a very wide variety of options if you enjoy the support role as well. I will say when it comes to overall, Priest can definitely be advanced at times, especially using the Oracle hero talent tree. As Shadow Priest, if you don't know what you're doing, you're probably going to deal little to no damage, so this class definitely takes some skill. When it comes to build variety, they don't really have much for each respective spec, but they do have 2 different role types, so in a sense, they do have very strong variety if you like to heal. The hero talent trees are amongst some of the best design in the entire game, with 3 hero talents that greatly affect your rotation and look visually stunning. As a priest, you also bring a good amount of utility, with Power Word, Fortitude, Power Infusion, and more. I think it's always risky picking a class just for one spec, so if you don't like healing at all and you're just betting on Shadow Priest, it could be a bit risky of a play, but if you like healing, this is a great class for you. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, we do stream our Comeback City weekly show every Wednesday night, and we just broke a record of 150 live viewers. I want to thank you all so much for tuning in the show. If you're interested, come check it out. We stream live here every Wednesday, as well as gameplay streams here on YouTube, as well as Twitch. You can find the link to both of these in the comment section below, and if you're looking for a guild, pay attention because we got an important message for you. One last note we wanted to make: if you're looking for a guild or people to progress through Mythic Plus with or raid with next season, the Comeback Kids are recruiting, and any and all players are welcome to come on down, play with us. We're looking to fill out some new members for the raid. Oh my god, we fucking did it. Oh my god, let's fucking go, bro. If you're on the Horde, you can simply just go to the guild tab and search up the Comeback Kids, and we should pop up. Make sure you do have the guild size on any so you can actually see us. Either way though, if it doesn't work, you just use the Discord link in the comment section below, hop in there and verify, get yourself in, and then we can get you invited by you posting your name and server under the guild invite tab.